how you doing? How you doing?
Bill Hahn, the home plate umpire, getting the lineups from both sides. Umpire's got the lineups. Both sides ready. Here we go. Here's what's on those lineup cards. First for the Houston Astros. Standing in is Michael Bourne. And he takes a fastball that misses outside from Chris Volstad. Michael Bourne, Angel Sanchez, and Hunter Pence for the Astros in the first. Volstad's sinker sinks a little too low, and it's gone 2-0. This is a matchup at the top of the order that Volstad needs to win, and that is keep Michael Bourne off base. 39 stolen bases, and he's gone 3-0 on them. And, of course, Volstad has given up more stolen bases than anybody in the National League.
Now, one of the keys to Anibal Sanchez last night, he walked just one in his 7 innings.
And Volstad walks him on 4 pitches. So here's the Astros lineup. But Bourne at the top. Don't expect him to be anchored at first much longer. Angel Sanchez, Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Chris Johnson, Brett Wallace, Jason Castro, Anderson Hernandez, and Wandy Rodriguez hits 9th. You see Bourne with the infield hits and the 39 stolen bases. He leads the National League in steals. And this is Sanchez, who was 0 for 4 last night. One of the real successes for the Marlins last night was keeping the top 4 hitters off of base. Carlos Lee in the cleanup spot, Hunter Pence hitting 3rd. Sanchez last night was at 2nd, and Bourne at the top of the lineup. There's a strike. Combined, those guys were 0 for 14.
Hey, we did see Chris Volstad pick off a runner in Pittsburgh. He picked off Argenis Diaz. Good shot of Anibal Sanchez, Emilio Bonifacio, a couple of key contributors in the game last night.
I asked Chris last week about holding runners, and he said, you know, it's all about my time to the plate. He said there are times where I get to the plate quickly, and there are other times where I have a mental lapse and I take a little bit too long to get to the plate. And he's a big guy, but there are big pitchers. A great example, Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, guys that hold runners and get to the plate quickly.
Yeah, it's not as if he has a real high leg kick. He's able to, as you said, when he concentrates on it, get to the plate a little quicker. There's a good example. That's not a high leg kick there. It was a high pitch, though.
And some concern now. You see Randy St. Clair's got the stopwatch on, timing his deliveries to the plate. Bourne bluffs, and Volstad throws a strike. Bobby Meacham, former coach of the Marlins, back on Joe Girardi's staff, he's got a stopwatch as well. He's looking to see what Volstad's times are. Ideally, you want to be in the 1-2 area. You get up 1-4, 1-5, and that's when guys will start to run. It's a pretty good pitch. Wow. That's a big miss, and it's 3-2. Fox Tracks.
Got a feeling this is going to be in the zone.
It is. That was pitch number 5.
And you also know that Bourne will be running here.
Bourne is going. Ground ball, and it's through the hole into right field. Stanton approaches. The Astros are set up with runners at the corners. So Angel Sanchez puts one into right field. Our defense tonight for the Marlins, brought to you by TGI Fridays.
Well, there's a look with Logan Morrison in there in left field. Back at third is Wes Helms. Hanley and Uggla up the middle. Brett Hayes behind the plate. So with the runner going, a run and hit for Angel Sanchez, and he placed it perfectly.
And now you get into the 2 dangerous hitters, the 2 veterans in Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. Sharp ground ball, runner coming home. Helms is going to come home, and they've got Bourne hung up. in the rundown. Volstad will tag Bourne out, but Bourne is fast enough to allow both runners to move up 90 apiece. It was good that the Marlins had him in a rundown, but it was bad that it was Michael Bourne.
Yeah, it took a little too long, and that's what allowed the runners, Sanchez and Pence, to get themselves to second and third. For a moment, it looked like West was going for the double play. It was a double play ball. And I'm not sure why he changed his mind. Dan Uggla was there. First inning, you give them the run and take 2 outs. West decided to go the other route, but because of Bourne's speed, the putout goes 5-2, 5-1. But I thought they had a double play.
Carlos Lee now takes a strike. So Sanchez at third, Pence is at second, and Lee 0 for 2 with a walk last night. Breaking ball, and he missed it. 0-2.
Tough out right here. This guy's been an RBI machine his entire career. Carlos Lee has averaged 7 years. He's averaged 31 homers and 109 RBIs.
He had 102 last year. He has 65 this year on a ball club that is 53 and 68. Chris has got him 0-2. Tried to pick at the corner, and it's 1-2. Volstad pitched in Houston against the Astros. Got a no decision. Actually left with a 4-3 lead. Houston won that ball game. Lee drives it into right field. That's a base hit. Pence around third. They'll stop him. He runs through the stop sign. Throw comes home, and he scores. Dave Clark, the third base coach, had the stop sign up, but Hunter Pence was having none of that. He had committed, and Stanton's throw brought Hayes up the line, and the Astros have 2 runs.
Well, we talked about Carlos Lee, an RBI machine. He's a tough guy to strike out. Third hardest to strike out in the National League. Just drops it into shallow right field to throw a little offline. If the throw's on the money, Pence is nailed, and he did run through that stop sign.
So 2 more RBIs for Carlos Lee. And there's the importance of getting that double play in exchange for the 1 run. It's the deal you make at the start of a ball game. Instead, the Astros get 2 runs, and there's only 1 out.
Yeah, that ball was hit sharp enough to West that he had the opportunity to start a double play.
Volstad stumbles after that delivery. (2-0) pitch. That one fouled back to the screen. Chris Johnson, we talked about him last night. Stetson University, out of Naples. He's 25. Has arrived in the big leagues, a 4th-round pick by Houston. He's had a nice start, hitting .340, 6 homers, 35 driven in.
Sure, he had a few friends and family make the trek over Alligator Alley. They come over for this series.
This is game number 57 for him. So he's played at just about the same amount of games as Mike Stanton has. And he shoots one into right field, the base hit. Stanton picks it up. The Astros now have 3 hits to go along with the leadoff walk. And here comes Brett Wallace.
This is where, and Brett Hayes is going out to talk to Chris Volstad right now. You have to reinforce to Volstad, hey, look, it's early in the game. They have 2 runs. They've not hit a ball hard. The base hit that Carlos Lee got was blooped off the end of the bat. The single by Sanchez was a seeing eye single with the runner going. and that ball hit by Johnson wasn't hit all that hard, just found the hole on the right side. So you have to reinforce that, hey, look, you're throwing the ball well, you're getting ground balls, you just got to stay with that game plan.
Here's Brett Wallace, and he takes outside. He was 0 for 3 last night, and all 3 of the 0-fers were strikeouts. The Arizona State star. Goes after a low fastball and drives it out to left. Morrison right at the edge of the warning track. And there are 2 outs. And up comes Jason Castro, the rookie catcher for the Astros. A lot of rookies getting playing time for Brad Mills. Heck, he's a rookie.
Yeah, first-year manager. Hey, with the exception of Anderson Hernandez, who's playing shortstop for him tonight, their entire infield's made up of rookies, including their catcher, Jason Castro, who steps in now.
Castro fouls it back. This is a Wandy Rodriguez start for the Astros. Marlins tomorrow will get Nelson Figueroa. Brett Myers and Bud Norris, 2 starters that the Marlins miss. One and one. Now it's 2-1. The home road split with Chris Volstad. Obviously, we talked about it in his last road start. It's the biggest jump in the majors from home to road. His ERA at home 3.61. He's about 6.5 on the road.
And he struggled, if you remember, in the first inning in Pittsburgh. Gave up two hits and 2 runs through 21 pitches. Then he settled down and had an 8-pitch second inning, an 8-pitch third inning, a 7-pitch fourth inning, and a 10-pitch fifth inning.
Outside corner, he struck him out. So Volstad strikes out Jason Castro, but Houston strikes for 2. Marlins in a 2-0 hole right off the get-go. And their lineup looks like this. The Fish have won 4 in a row. Hanley Ramirez leads it off. Had a nice night last night. Logan Morrison's back in the lineup. Gabby Sanchez, a couple hits last night. Uggla's hit streak is now at 12 games. Mike Stanton is slumping as of late. Cody Ross in center. Wes Helms at third. Brett Hayes behind the plate. And Volstad will hit ninth. And there's a look at 5'11", Wandy Rodriguez.
Yeah, a little different look than last night's lefty. Jay Happ, 6'6". But Wandy Rodriguez has been a solid starter for the Astros for a number of years. Won 9 games last year, and boy, he's been on a roll right now. His last 10 starts, Wandy Rodriguez has gone 6-1 with a 1.74 ERA.
Hanley takes a fastball for a strike.
He's had some success, Wandy has, against the Marlins, but Hanley's had some success against the Astros. And Wandy, for that matter, 5 for 11 against Rodriguez.
One of those 5, a home run, and a breaking ball misses down low. Yeah, Wandy has won his last 2 starts against the Fish. He did not face the Marlins in April when the Marlins went to Houston. A liner in the center, a base hit. And so Hanley is aboard. It was the top of the order that really fueled the Marlins offense last night. And Hanley on base 3 times last night. Here comes Logan Morrison.
And he jumped on that curveball that Rodriguez features. And Hanley appears the last 2 nights to be locked in. Of course, hitting around .410 now in his career against the Astros.
Yeah, and his numbers against the Central continue to be amazing.
And the other thing, Rich, having good at-bats against lefties. Even tonight, coming in, hitting just .224 against lefties. But he had good swings last night against Happ. That was a good one against Rodriguez.
Here's Logan Morrison. You talk about having good ABs against lefties. Just in his brief stay in the big leagues, Morrison is 7 for 19 against lefties. That's .368. And Wandy misses down low.
Well, you love to look at that strikeouts and walks line with Logan Morrison. 15 strikeouts, 13 walks. He's an extremely patient young hitter.
Pops that one foul and out of play. I think that's a good example there. He's a patient hitter, Tommy, but he doesn't let his pitch go by without a good swing.
No, and I think, and you hear scouts talk about hitters like Logan. There's a look, pitches per plate appearance. That's better than the league average. His power is going to get there. It might not be this year, might not even be next year, but as he matures as a hitter, you'll see him hit 15 to 20 home runs.
To 1 pitch. Breaking ball missed outside, and Morrison has worked the count to 3-1. .3-1 pitch is a strike. Logan Morrison has a birthday coming up.
Pretty good pitch, by the way. 3-1 curveball. Certainly not the one he was expecting.
In 4 days, he will turn 23. Well, let's see if Hanley's on the move here. Rodriguez really hasn't shown him a move, and now he does.
Not the greatest of moves. That's probably his A move. Yeah, I think even with the Marlins trailing 2-0, I think Hanley will be running.
Morrison pulls a ground ball, sliding, stopped by Hernandez. He can't find it. And Morrison's got himself a base hit. Anderson Hernandez to his left. He got a glove on it, but then it almost looked like he rolled over the ball.
just acquired by the Astros. They picked him up from the Cleveland organization. We've seen Hernandez over the years a little bit with the Mets. Another curveball from Rodriguez. Hanley was not going, but Hernandez got to it. It was a tough play, tough chance, and an infield base hit. He rolls over. Once he tries to grab it, he rolled over on the glove, and that's when it came out.
So an infield hit. Here's Gabby. And a fastball for a strike. Nice night from Gabby last night. He was 2 for 3.
And another hit off a lefty by Logan Morrison.
Gabby drove in a run with his 30th double of the season. He leads all rookies in doubles. Leads all rookies in a lot of categories. Goes after that fastball. Gabby, and we talked about on Marlins Live, the leading candidates for rookies. There's your National League leaders, and obviously not rookies, but all players. Gabby is up there at 345. But Gabby leads in hits, in doubles, RBI, total bases, multi-hit games, extra base hits. Ball in the dirt, smothered by Castro.
Gabby's always been a doubles guy. You look at his minor league numbers, he had a couple of years where he had 40 or more doubles.
And I think in this ballpark, and with the dimensions of the Marlins' new ballpark, he fits in nicely. So does Logan Morrison. Guys that drive the ball to the gaps with power.
Gabby's got a chance to have 40 doubles this year. Leading the ball club in that category. Another guy who in the minor leagues had good numbers as far as walks and strikeouts.
Morrison and Hanley have opened this inning with base hits. And Gabby swings and misses at a sharp breaking ball. Wandy Rodriguez, his first strikeout. Here's our defense tonight for the Houston Astros, brought to you by TGI Fridays.
There's Carlos Lee. He tracked one down in left center last night. Bourne has 8 assists. Pence has a strong arm. Chris Johnson, Angel Sanchez, Anderson Hernandez, and Brett Wallace around the infield. And Jason Castro, he's done a nice job defensively, 10 for 25 and throwing runners out.
Here's Ugla now. Dan last night did not have the best of nights. He essentially had 4 pop-ups last night. One of those, however, fell in down the right field line for a 2-run single, and it extended his hitting streak. As hard as Ugla's been hitting the ball during this streak, he was due to have an off night, but he did pick up a hit, so he's at a career-high 12 games now.
Yeah, he'll take that hit because the bloop single drove in 2 runs.
Fastball, Ugla fouls it off, and Wandy Rodriguez is out in front, 0-2.
Well, look at those numbers of consistency. The month of July continued the month of August. And that's what you and I have talked about so much, the consistency of Dan Ugla all year.
Wandy Rodriguez has struck out 118 this year, so he does have a put-away pitch. You saw him put away Gabby. Oh, 2 coming.
We'll talk a little bit about Wandy Rodriguez, what to expect. We've seen some of that stuff. He used the 2- and 4-seam fastballs. His breaking ball is a power curveball. And he doesn't take too much time out there. He's laboring a little bit out there with runners on, but generally he works pretty fast.
That's the same pitch that he struck Gabby out on. Ugla just got a piece of it.
Yeah, to the right-handed batters, he likes to bury that 12-6 curveball down right off the top of their foot, try to get him to chase it. Brad Mills has been pleased at what Rodriguez has done. He's been pleased at Brett Myers.
Yeah, Brett Myers has really solidified himself, actually signing a contract extension to stay in Houston. Bud Norris continues to make strides. So, I mean, if Jay Happ is what they hope he is, this Houston ball club will have a pretty good rotation next year.
That's not a bad four-man rotation.
See Morrison keeping an eye on Hanley. 2-2 coming. And there's the back foot slider, and it almost got Uggla's back foot. Mike Stanton is on deck. We have seen Edwin Rodriguez be very aggressive. Counts full, there's one out, but the Marlins are down 2-0 here in the first.
Yeah, and I think that makes a difference here. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning. You want, if possible, to get Mike Stanton up there.
Uggla calls time and steps out.
And the fact also, Rich, we didn't see Hanley running when Morrison was up.
Morrison has such a big lead that if they do run, the only play is going to be at third base. Because the Astros are not holding him, and they're way off the bag. Not running. Breaking ball. Uggla pulls it down the line. Got an out there, and that's it. Good slide by Morrison. Got a piece of Anderson Hernandez. And Stanton will get his at bat, but there are 2 outs.
That's a perfect example. When the first baseman's playing off that much, Morrison, look at his lead. He's way out there. And because of that, he's able to get in on the second baseman. And really no chance for Hernandez because he got there to take him out. If you don't get a big lead at first base, you're not going to be able to get there that quickly. So good job by Logan Morrison.
Watch Morrison's feet as he slides through here. Stanton fouls it back.
Right now, Mike Stanton working with his timing. When the timing's just a little off with his stride and everything, then he kind of locks up and takes pitches, and that's what we've seen him do over the last 3 or 4 games.
2 for his last 18. With 8 strikeouts in those 18 at-bats. There's Hanley. Uggla. Hanley has a big lead. Fastball's up.
A lot of pitches for both pitchers in the first inning.
Stanton drives it to right field. Pence is there, and Hunter Pence makes a running catch. So a lot of action, but no runs for the Fish, and a 2-0 lead for Houston. Billy the Marlin's birthday, so the first 5,000 kids get a Billy lunch cooler courtesy of Waste Management. 1-877-Marlins. Well, Volstad misses up high to Anderson Hernandez. For Chris, that first inning, the tone was set when he walked Michael Bourne on 4 pitches.
Yeah, you really think about that first inning. Could have been a whole lot different if Bourne is not on the bases. Sanchez's ground ball to the right side would have been caught by Ugla. Remember, Dan was covering second base.
That pitch misses, and it's 3-0. And there have been some borderline calls, but Chris has been all over the place. And it's a lot harder to get those calls like that if you don't have decent control and you're not around the plate.
Well, you should go right after guys like this instead of try to nitpick the corners. You're talking about Michael Bourne and Anderson Hernandez, and they're missing. Go right at the plate. Throw it down the middle. Anderson Hernandez isn't going to hit a ball 400 feet.
And for the Astros, it sets up perfectly because Wandy Rodriguez is up, and he can try to bunt Hernandez to second.
You walk these guys, then you get to those situations where you have to pitch to Carlos Lee and Hunter Pence with runners on.
Not a bad hitter. Rodriguez is a good athlete. You know, that seems like it should be a given when you're talking about a player in the major leagues, that the guy's a good athlete. But it doesn't always translate to pitchers.
No, there have been some really bad athletes that were pitchers. They were just gifted with a fantastic arm. And I think it really shows when you have a pitcher who's an all-around athlete and can do a lot of things.
And Chris Volstad is a good athlete as well.
Yes, he is.
Well, they get another shot at Bourne again. Bourne walked back in the first. It was on 4 pitches. And then Angel Sanchez singled to right. Carlos Lee delivered 2 runs with his base hit. Chris drops in a strike. Bourne to center. It sends Cody back. Hernandez is going to tag, but he will not get to third.
Oh, nice play. That's a non-play that's a nice play. Cody Ross tracking the ball that was hit pretty well by Michael Bourne, and then realizing the runner was headed back to tag up. Anderson Hernandez, look at that. A one-hopper right to Wes Helms.
Angel Sanchez now. A ground ball single into right field. Oh, 0-1. Marlins improving their record to a game over 500 at 61-60. Still a far distant back in the East. The Fish at 10.5 back. The Braves finally lost a game. Thought for sure they were going to come back against Carlos Marmol in the 9th again, just to get a buzz out of Tommy. But the Cubs held on, and Marmol got the save, 5-4. The Cubs beat the Braves today. The Phillies and the Nationals are back at it tonight in Philadelphia. And against, I believe it's Kyle Kendrick pitching for the Phillies. The Nationals have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, the Nationals have Steven Strasburg pitching.
Outside corner. Volstad
good pitch.
Finishes off Sanchez. And the Astros leave a runner in scoring position. Hey, that's an expensive piece of equipment there, pal.
Are those clappers waterproof?
I'm more worried about the high-definition camera. Cody Ross, Wes Helms, Brett Hayes. Wandy Rodriguez misses down low. Cody finished with a flourish last night. His last two at-bats went double, run scored, and solo homer. At the knees. One headed towards the hot tub. And now they're not so brave down there. Our Geico quote of the night. Cody Ross talking about the trade rumors. Anytime I step up to the plate in July and August, I'm waiting for them to call me off the field. The fact that Cody placed on waivers and claimed by San Francisco, apparently, according to Ken Rosenthal of FoxSports.com, who broke the story. And in all likelihood, the Giants doing that to block him from getting to San Diego. He needs a center fielder now that Tony Gwynn broke his hand.
Yeah, I talked to Cody about all those rumors. We talked before the game. Said he's been in contact with his agent. So it's one of those things that obviously he's going to go out there and do his best in this game right here. But it's on his mind, and he would like one way or the other for it to be over.
That one misses down low. And I think Cody as well indicating that it is somewhat flattering that a team that is in first place, like the San Diego Padres, best record in the National League, wants to get him, and that the Giants think highly enough of Cody to try to block the Padres from getting him. And he's aboard. So the Marlins have had plenty of base runners against Wandy Rodriguez.
Yeah, they've had a couple of base hits. That's the first walk issued by Rodriguez, who has pitched much better at Minute Maid at home. At home, he's 6-5 with an ERA of about 2.5. On the road, Wandy Rodriguez is 3-6, ERA over 5. So he's a much better pitcher at home this year.
Helms getting the start at third base tonight. Hector Luna was there last night, and Luna responded going 2 for 4 with a home run. A strike to Helms. Emilio Bonifacio contributing as well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those guys in the lineup tomorrow as well. Probably more so Bonifacio.
I think we may see both in the lineup tomorrow.
Got a right-hander, Nelson Figueroa, going. Helms on soft chopper over the mound, and Hernandez is going to get the out at second base. Anderson Hernandez and Wandy Rodriguez having a bit of a conversation about what, I'm not sure.
Well, remember, Anderson Hernandez fairly new to the Astros, just called up from their AAA affiliate.
Dinner time.
Chicken fingers.
Brett Hayes swings and misses. Much of the news last night surrounding the Marlins was about Ronnie Paulino's 50-game suspension for violating Major League Baseball's drug policy. And for Brett Hayes, it obviously means more playing time. Hayes last night struggled at the plate. He was 0 for 4.
And I would suspect in the day game tomorrow we'll see Brad Davis get the start.
It's Helms at first now. Wow. A strike 3 right down the middle, a fastball. Well, maybe not right down the middle. Let me amend that, but close enough on 0-2.
Close enough that with 2 strikes, you got to try to foul that off.
Here's Volstad. Chris takes a letter high strike. Wandy Rodriguez had an outstanding year last year. He was 14-12, and his ERA last year was 3.02. And that's good work on a team that was 74-88.
Yeah, that was by far his best year. He threw over 200 innings.
And he has thrown well lately. Last 3 starts, 3 no decisions, 3 earned runs in 20 and a third innings. Panoramic view of the stadium. Rodriguez finishes off Volstad. The Marlins leave a runner aboard. 2 in the books. 2-0 Houston. have dominated the Astros, winning 9 of the last 10. Last series the Astros won here was 2006. Those numbers almost totally reversed down in Houston. Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Chris Johnson against Chris Bolstad. A little bit of rain falling. Check swing. This could be a tough play. Pence runs well. And he beats it.
Well, again, a pretty good pitch. It fooled Pence. He tried to hold up his swing. But with Wes Helms playing back, and that's where he has to play with Pence up there, he had the infield hit.
And so Carlos Lee, who delivered both runs with a single to right center in the first. And Pence has 15 stolen bases. Look at that. Our leaders of the game, National League, infield hits, Michael Bourne and Hunter Pence. Pence is running. It's a strike. Hayes' throw on the money. Got him. Boy, Fred Hayes made an absolutely perfect throw. Uggla's catch and tag in a blink of an eye, and his glove just got to the bag right as Pence's foot did.
This had to be a perfect throw to get Pence. He got a good jump. If the throw's anywhere else, his foot gets on the bag before the tag's applied. Perfection by Brett Hayes. And a nice pick-me-up for Chris Volstad.
One, two. Last night, one of the impressive things about Anibal Sanchez was that he was able to keep his rhythm and his pace and his effectiveness after a 37-minute rain delay in the middle of his start.
Yeah, that was good to see, and it was also good to see his determination. He wanted to come back in the game until the Marlins kind of stretched things out and opened up the lead.
Marlins were able to give their 8th and 9th inning men the night off last night. Clay Hensley and Leo Nunez. Ground ball short. Hanley gathers it in. El Caballo shaking his hands. That sinker from Volstad got in on him. So 2 outs, and here's Johnson. Mets have scored first in Pittsburgh. That's a 3rd inning score, 1-0 New York. And Steven Strasburg's lead is now 4-0 in the 3rd as the Nationals lead the Phillies.
I think this is the first time he's faced Philadelphia.
Marlins have seen him twice. I've lost track of his innings ceiling.
Well, they're going to try to cut him off at 160. I think at one point we figured it out. He'd have 7 or 8 more starts.
High pop. Cody gliding with it. Makes the catch. Little rain in the eyes never hurt anybody. 1877 Maroney by South Florida Ford. Visit southfloridaford.com for great offers. Spike Checkers, little place, big taste. Tommy, I do believe all the fun seems to be happening down in that hot tub area.
I think we're in the wrong place tonight.
Hanley Ramirez, Logan Morrison, Gabby Sanchez. Fastball at the knees to Hanley, who singled in the first. Wandy Rodriguez giving up a couple hits, struck out 3, walked 1. And this is the second time through for the Marlins order. Check swing, no swing. Wild card race right now in the National League has Philly on top of the wild card with the Giants a game back, the Cardinals 3 back, the Rockies 7 back, the Marlins and Dodgers 8 back.
Terrific matchup tonight in St. Louis.
Hanley fouls that off his foot.
Tim Lincecum and Chris Carpenter in that game in St. Louis. Well, you see hitters foul that ball off that front leg. That one looked like it got him just on the knee or below. So if it's off the foot, it's one thing. If it's up on the shin or knee, it's a whole different ball game. So that one got Hanley pretty good. Quick attention by Mike Kozak, though, and Hanley will be good to go.
So the count's 1-2. Now, if you're Wandy Rodriguez, what pitch do you throw now?
You go right back down with that curveball down and in.
That back foot slider, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can hear Hanley, too.
Looks like a fastball. And it was right down the middle.
Hanley might have thought he was going to get that curveball. He's saying it's outside. Remember the pitch that we thought was right down the middle to Brett Hayes? Just found the outside part of the plate. Wandy Rodriguez is staying there, and it's probably borderline, but again, too close with 2 strikes.
We did not have Fox tracks on that pitch to show you, but in the truck it read ball on the corner. Morrison drives that ball to right field, hits it over Pence's head, and hops off the wall, and Lomo's got himself a double.
Yeah, now you're seeing a little of that Lomo aggressiveness and the kind of pop he has in that bat. This is our Checkers double, and it's a well-struck double on a fastball. Logan Morrison with his 8th double of the year. Got that ball over Hunter Pence's head quickly.
Here's Gabby now. So 8 doubles for Morrison. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Let's see if Gabby can pick him up. A little too long for Sanchez. Breaking ball for a strike. He got him on that breaking ball for strike 3 back in the first.
You can see that that's a good pitch for Wandy Rodriguez. He's pretty much using the 2 pitches. He has a changeup. Not sure if he's thrown one. We've seen mostly fastballs and that curveball.
Gabby gets around on it, busts his bat, and has to get a new stick. The count 1-2. That is a terrific matchup. in St. Louis. Scoreless right now in the fourth inning. The Giants and the Cardinals. Carpenter against Lincecum.
Yeah, scoreless as you would expect. And the Cardinals trying to break a 5-game losing streak. I mean, they've gone in opposite directions of the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have won 7 in a row, and the Cardinals have lost 5 in a row.
Ball in the dirt. Hypothetically, it would be interesting to see what the Giants would do if the Marlins let Cody Ross go to the Giants, because they already have 2 guys who are playing center field, Rowan and Torres. Torres has been a real nice spark for them.
Well, Pat Burrell's been playing some. Could cut into his playing time in left. They could always put Cody or Torres in left. But maybe we're putting the
well, that's why I said hypothetically.
The cart ahead of the horses right now.
Hypothetically.
Okay.
They just don't want him to be a Padre. Got him again with that breaking ball.
That one stayed out over the plate, was a little more hittable, and I think it fooled Gabby because it didn't come over the plate. It kind of stayed on the outer part. If that was by design, it was a great pitch by Wandy Rodriguez to just get that back door with that breaking ball. He has 5 strikeouts.
Uggla bounced into a fielder's choice in the first. Morrison's at second, 2 out. That's a tough pitch there to hit fair. Rides that fastball outside. Morrison a 1-out double, sandwiched around strikeouts of Hanley and Gabby. And Uggla can't lay off the breaking ball either. It's 1-2. Uggla's number is very impressive this year. His OPS, by the way, on base plus slugging, is currently 8th in the National League. Albert Pujols and Joey Votto are almost identical, but Uggla's at 906. Pujols at 1,007. Votto 1,006. At the knees, he throws him on a fastball similar to the strikeouts of Hayes and Jason Castro and Anderson Hernandez. The first pitch swing and a miss by Wallace.
Kind of a similar pattern for Chris Volstad as he had in Pittsburgh. All the pitches in the first inning, 27 in the first inning tonight, then 12 in the second, 11 in the third. He had that same pattern against the Pirates.
That one misses low. Wallace is kind of thickly built. Fouls that one back.
He's one of those guys you hear descriptions of by scouts and other people that say, don't let the body fool you. He might not have that perfect physique, but he can swing the bat.
6'2", 205.
He's one of those guys, he's always swung the bat.
He doesn't have the same power numbers, but he's a little bit like Jack Cust of the Athletics. You look at him and you don't really think power hitter, and then you see Cust rip away, and he has got that impressive uppercut swing.
Yeah, then you see the ball jump off his bat.
Finds that one foul. 3-2. This is starting to look a lot like his last start, when Volstad gave up the 2 runs in Pittsburgh and was okay until he got into the 6th inning, and that's when the Pirates got to him and ended up beating the Marlins and Volstad 7-1.
Well, the tough pattern that he's starting to show, and it's something he's going to have to get out of, and he's certainly young enough to do that. He's 23. Is that he's a 5-inning pitcher right now. And for Chris Volstad, who stands 6'8", somewhere in the 230s, 23 years old, he has to be able to take games a little bit deeper.
AT&T trivia time as we flip the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. Name the 3 Astros skippers to be voted
wake up.
Manager of the Year. 3 Astros skippers to be voted Manager of the Year. Normally we just have a generic shot of, the field or a player.
I'm going to throw out one of those names. I think one of those. I can't think of 3. But the one I'm going to throw out there is Larry Dirkman.
I'll go Phil Garner, and a name that we talked about, I believe, from that 1960 World Championship team. Bill Burden
played on that team. Yeah, Bill Burden, an outfielder on that 60s Pirate team,
and he managed for Houston, right?
Managed the Astros.
So I'll go Burden and Garner.
I'm still just going with Larry Dirkman.
Well, he needs 3.
I want to keep my percentage up there.
Good changeup by Chris.
I don't think it'd be Terry Collins. See, it almost looks like when Chris starts to get in a little more of a rhythm, then he starts using his other pitches. As you said, good changeup right there to get Jason Castro.
There's got to be a few names in Astro history that managed that ball club. That one is over Hanley's head. It lands into left field. Anderson Hernandez bloops a single to left. It brings up Wandy Rodriguez.
They've hit 5 singles, and really I want to say the hardest hit ball, maybe Chris Johnson's ground ball in the right field. That's about it. Everything's been an infield shot, a seeing eye base hit, or the one Carlos Lee hit off the end of his bat.
Did Yogi Berra manage the Astros?
Yeah, I think he did. That's a good call.
All right, I've got the list of Astro managers. The first manager in Astro history was Harry Kraft.
Harry Kraft.
Luman Harris took over. Grady Hatton from there. Harry Walker. Leo DeRocher. Briefly. Looks like he was an interim. Who could forget the run that Salty Parker had as an interim manager? Preston Gomez, Leo DeRocher again. Then you get into Bill Verdon, Bob Lillis, Hal Lanier, Art Howe. Forgotten that Art Howe was there.
Okay, let me throw Art Howe out there then, along with Larry Durker. You talked about it. Wandy Rodriguez, pretty good hitting pitcher, 10 hits on the year. So you can't just lay it in there.
Ground ball up the middle. Ugla has it, flips to Hanley in time. Got a special guest when we return. 2-0 Houston. Now, batting practice on the field was rained out, but not in the cage. And so Christian took his cuts along with the starters, and he joins us now. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me up here.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you.
Welcome to the Marlins family.
Absolutely. Proud to be a Marlin finally. It's taken a while, but finally glad that everything's resolved and we can finally show up and be here.
Yeah, I heard some of the we may not have to get into detail, but the guys in the clubhouse gave you a pretty good time when you were down there.
we had a good time going down there. I was a little nervous to go in there and be a part of all that, but it ended up working out great, and a bunch of great guys. It was nice to sit down and talk and meet all those guys.
Marlins have had a lot of success in guys out of Southern California. One of them is at the plate right now, Mike Stanton, with Cody Ross and Wes Helms to follow. I know Mike is a few years removed from high school. Did you ever see him play or hear about him when you were playing?
I remember hearing about him. I never actually got a chance to go up and play his high school when he was there. I was a freshman. He was a senior, and I remember hearing lots of great things about him. But we ended up playing his school my sophomore year, so he was already gone by then.
There's a couple of Notre Dame guys on this team. Stanton, of course, and Brett Hayes went to Notre Dame High School as well in Thousand Oaks.
Hayes was great. They gave me a locker, and it was right next to his, and he kind of took me under his wing a little bit and shoved me around, and he was one of the guys who was real cool and helped me out and made the process a whole lot easier to get used to down there and get to feel comfortable.
One of the oddities, Christian, for first-round picks as they sign getting closer to the deadline is that you probably have gone the longest period in your life without playing an actual baseball game, haven't you? It's probably been about 2-3 months.
Yeah, probably 3 months, 3.5 months now, actually, I think.
How have you stayed sharp?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Just been working out, hitting the cage and taking BP, but you can't really simulate a game like that. You need to see the live pitcher, and the guy's throwing a little bit harder. You can get BP all you want, but until you see the live pitcher, it's not really the same. So we play our first game out here Monday, and I'm looking forward to it. Finally be able to get out there and swing it a little bit in the game and see some game action.
Now, you probably already had a ticket for Miami, whether you were coming here to sign or whether you were coming here for school, right?
Yeah, I did, because I was supposed to be at school right now if I didn't sign. So I was coming out here either way. I knew I was coming to South Florida. I didn't know which airport I was going to yet.
How did that all come about? I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of other colleges interested. How did the choice of Miami come about?
I ended up taking all of my visits and went and saw. I went to all different places in the country: Midwest, West Coast, East Coast.
Cody is out on a ball that was dropped by Brett Wallace. Cody around first, and it's going to go E3 and the put out at second base. Didn't mean to interrupt. But
no worries.
Go ahead.
But when I took my visit to Miami, the city, the football game, the school, the baseball program, coaches and staff, I just bonded with them. I had a great relationship with all the coaches at the University of Miami, and I'm very thankful for everything they did for me leading up to this point in this past year. They, helped me out, gave me a scholarship, were, more than willing to do anything for me. So I'm very appreciative of that and couldn't thank them more.
Now, have they talked to you since you made the choice to go ahead and sign and turn professional?
I talked to them 2 minutes after I ended up signing, and I just wanted to thank them for everything they did for me and just let them know that I was appreciative and wish them the best of luck and hope to see them soon.
Southern California, who'd you follow? What team, and were there any guys you really like to look at? Any hitters, left-handed hitters?
I just Dodger game. I go to some Dodger games every now and then. The stadium's maybe 45 minutes from my house, so I just go out and check it out every now and then. And I think my favorite left-handed hitter in the game was probably Josh Hamilton. He's a monster, so it's fun to watch him play. And
I think Bill Hahn is going to say that the ball was fouled, that Helms tipped it, and then it went into the dirt. It wasn't caught cleanly by Jason Castro. Brad Mills is out.
Brad Mills doing what all managers want. He's saying, pointing at Gary Darling at first base, saying get some help from Darling.
I don't think Helms tipped it. And the only thing that Hahn can ask Darling is, did Castro catch it on the fly or did he catch it in the dirt? I think Helms got a break just watching that replay.
And he clearly, didn't catch it on the fly, but I don't think he tipped it yet.
0-2. Wandy Rodriguez has been nasty here tonight. That is strike three. Well, welcome aboard. Christian, thanks for stopping by. And good luck up with the Gulf Coast League Marlins.
We're going to be following the Gulf Coast League now.
No, thanks for having me.
As we go to the fifth inning, Frank Fort along with Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton. The Astros made a change on their staff midway through the season. Jeff Bagwell was named as the new hitting coach. They have a very interesting hitting team in terms of statistics because they put the ball in play more than any team in the National League. 20% of the pitches that they see are put in play. They swing and miss less than any team in the National League. But they also walk the fewest times and strike out the fewest times. Even though they put the ball in play a lot, Rich and Tommy, they're 15th in the league in team batting average and 15th in runs scored. So I guess you can deduce from all that while they put the ball in play a lot, in fact, more than any other National League team, they haven't, by and large, been finding a lot of holes this season. Back up to you.
Or, Frank, they haven't been hitting it real hard.
Well, that's what they've done tonight. They've not hit the ball hard. They have 5 singles, but they have found some holes.
Michael Bourne walked in the first.
One of the things that helps, they have the big RBI guy, Carlos Lee, doesn't strike out much. Rarely is your RBI guy the third toughest to strike out in the National League.
Well, this was the guy that gave Volstad fits in the first. He walked him on 4 pitches. That opened the door. Caballo banged in a couple. And that's where we sit. And Volstad really has settled in since then.
Yeah, the good news, it's just nice to see Chris get in rhythm and settle in and make good pitches. Threw that one right on by Bourne.
The problem for the Marlins is that Wandy Rodriguez has been, ever since that first inning, he's been nails. Striking out 7. What'd you think of Christian Yelich? Just being around him in the little time that we have, he sounds like a bright kid. He sounds like a guy that has his head on right.
I enjoy listening to young kids. Of course, you know, I have 2 sons, and they're grown. But you learn a lot just listening to them interview and listening to Christian's interview with Frank and then getting a chance to talk to him up here. You have positive feelings about it. You get the feeling that he gets it and that he's going to make adjustments and he's going to do okay if he has the tools that will eventually get him here.
Boy, that was called a swing by Gary Darling, the first base umpire. I think Volstad made a good pitch, but the Marlins may have gotten a break. But right now, Chris is making a lot of good pitches. Hunter Pence has bounced into a fielder's choice and a check swing infield single.
Good movement on that sinker.
The mechanics of what Volstad has really struggled with is keeping his head straight to the plate, keeping that left shoulder in. When he falls off, he has a tendency to push the ball, and the ball sails in on a right-hander away from a left-hander. And that's the mechanical fix that they've really worked on. And boy, what a 5th inning. He strikes out the side.
There they are.
Yeah, we are.
All the action is going on down in the hot tub area. What are we doing up here, guys?
I know, right?
I know.
Tony and I were thinking of transferring.
Hey, Tony, how do you adjust? You see the way Wandy Rodriguez is pitching, fastballs, curveballs. How do you adjust as a hitter to that?
Well, right now, what they doing, they don't know what they're looking for. I mean, he got him all kind of confused because they've been taking a lot of pitches, especially when with 2 strikes, looking for a breaking ball and to get him a fastball on the outside corner and no reaction. I mean, you have to let the ball. I think as a hitter, I let the ball run a little bit more and try to shore up my swing a little bit. Choke it up.
Now here's Chris Volstad. On the other hand, guys, Chris Volstad, after that first inning, has gotten in rhythm, and he's been sharp.
Yeah, he's been very sharp, and they've been both pitchers after the first couple of innings. They've been great.
Volstad with a count 1-0, and he takes a strike. All right, guys, we'll meet you down in the hot tub area in the 7th inning.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks for the invitation.
All right. 1-1 coming. There's that sharp curveball. I'll be honest, Tommy, between innings, I dashed down to the frozen yogurt machine.
I know that. I saw you get out of here.
Who was down there but Jim Deshaies, the Astros analyst on television. And we talked about Rodriguez. And he said, Wandy Rodriguez, his last 5-6 starts has just been unbelievable.
Well, you mentioned it. In the month of August, coming into this game, and he's extended it here. In 3 starts, 20 and a third innings, just 3 earned runs, an ERA of 133. So he's extended that 24 and 2/3 innings now. So an ERA about 1 in the month of August, but he has no decisions in August. He's 0-0.
That's right. Well, he's got a 2-0 lead here. Hanley gets him for the 3rd time tonight. Hanley singled in the 1st and then took a called strike. That one of 8 strikeouts that Rodriguez has.
And we told you last night that Bob Knepper is the winningest left-hander in Astros history. Jim Deshaies is 3rd on that list. And Wandy Rodriguez, you know what? A win for Wandy. His next one, he'll tie Jim Deshaies. Mike Hampton's number 2.
See, I knew going out to get yogurt between innings would tie this whole inning in. From Wandy to Jim Deshaies.
It's what we do.
For a guy that's just thrown a fastball and a breaking ball, it seems like the Marlins, as Tony Perez pointed out, have had a hard time discerning between the two. A lot of guys have taken a lot of fastballs for strikes.
Tells me, number one, he's hard to pick up. And what Tony was saying, maybe you try to let the ball get to you a little bit more. That would help you identify the curveball. You might not be able to jump on a fastball and pull it, but you could hit a ball the other way.
And he fouls that breaking ball off, and it's 2-2. We've been talking about pitching all night. We touched upon the fact that Steven Strasburg was starting against the Phillies. They finally scored against him. It's 5-1 Nationals in the 5th. Strasburg has 5 strikeouts and has given up just the 1 run. Kyle Kendrick, on the other hand, has walked 4 and given up 5 runs. Certainly an important game in the wild card standings, with the Phillies a game ahead of San Francisco. Hanley drives that one down the right field line, and that's fouled.
Also important for the Phillies, they know that the Braves lost that game this afternoon at Wrigley Field.
And they know that the Cardinals are ahead of the Giants by a score of 3-0. The Giants are the team that is closest in the wild card, just a game back.
High fives all around the hot tub area. Got a foul ball.
That seems to be the place to be tonight. Either that or on the mound, because both pitchers have been sharp. Hanley right back up the box and a base hit. So Hanley and the man following him have had the best swings of the night against Wandy Rodriguez. Logan Morrison is 2 for 2. Hanley now 2 for 3. How about Lomo against left-handed pitching now? Remember, we told you he came into the ball game 7 for 19, so he's now 9 for 21.
Hanley's also 7 for 14 now in his career against Wandy. Yeah, they've done all the damage. Everybody else, from Logan Morrison after Logan down, hitless against Wandy Rodriguez.
Morrison's double was over the head of Pence in right. It one hopped the wall. Hanley is running on a breaking ball that skips out of the glove of Castro, and Hanley has a stolen base. His 23rd of the season.
Fortunately, he went on a breaking ball. I think he would have stolen it anyway, and because Castro knew he had to get rid of this thing quickly, he came up fast and just couldn't handle it. So Fox Exmo shows you the strides of Hanley Ramirez, stolen base number 23.
One. You heard Christian Yelich talk about the deadline, the August 16th deadline to sign as a draft pick. The year that Morrison was drafted in the 22nd round, that was the last year of the sign and follow. The deadline wasn't until very close to the next year's draft. So a team could essentially draft a player, and if he didn't sign right away, still try to negotiate with him all the way for almost an entire calendar year.
If he were in junior college.
And he was in junior college. There's a strike. He was in the same junior college that produced Albert Pujols in Missouri. And while he was a 22nd round draft pick, the Marlins saw him improve so much in that 1 year that they offered him enough money to make him sign. So they didn't offer him 22nd round money. And he goes after a fastball, and Wandy Rodriguez is dealing tonight here in South Florida. Italian menu only at TGI Fridays and by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that hasn't been a pleasure, and that's hitting tonight. Hitting against Wandy Rodriguez, and actually since the first inning, hitting against Chris Volstad.
That's when Houston got their 2 runs. Since then, Volstad has settled down. Chris, in his 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits, and those 2 runs. Wandy Rodriguez in 5 innings, 9 strikeouts, a walk, and 4 hits. Volstad at 81 pitches, Rodriguez at 83 pitches. Volstad a good sharp breaking ball there.
This is the area where Chris really has to reach back, focus a little bit. His first 75 pitches, opponents hit 251 against him. After 75 pitches, that average goes up to 364.
Stanton comes in, makes the catch. Let's check in with Frank Ford. Hi, Frank.
Hi, guys. As Chris Johnson comes to the plate for the Astros, you mentioned he's out of Naples, Florida. He attended Bishop Verot High School. He was drafted in the 37th round by the Red Sox coming out of high school, which was appropriate because his dad, Bob Johnson, is part of the Red Sox organization. He's in his 11th year there. In fact, he's on the first year of the big league staff as the first base coach. But coming out of high school, both Bob and his wife, as this one again lined to right field, and Stanton makes the play on Chris Johnson, told Chris, you need to go to college. He went to Stetson University, played 3 years, and it worked out because he was then drafted in the 4th round, a whole lot higher, by the Houston Astros. I asked him what's the best piece of advice his dad, a lifelong baseball guy, ever gave him. He said, son, just remember, ultimately it's a game. Make sure you have fun. Chris Johnson up in the big leagues. His dad coaching first base in Boston. Guys?
And Frank and Tommy, I think it's nice for Johnson to arrive here and play for Brad Mills, because Mills and Chris's father very close, because Mills was on Terry Francona's staff.
So knowing him from the Red Sox organization, yeah, it's a nice feeling for a young player to come up and have some common grounds with the coaches or a manager in this case. But he's been swinging the bat, Chris Johnson has, since the All-Star break.
Some thunder and lightning outside the stadium. Not much of that inside the stadium. That is an 8-pitch inning. Nicely done by Chris Volstad.
Long ago, I forgot who I picked.
3 Astro skippers to be voted Manager of the Year.
Oh, I had Larry Durker and Art Howe.
I had Bill Verdon.
You had Bill Verdon.
And I had Phil Gardner.
We did not have Hal Lanier.
As Meatloaf would say, 2 out of 3.
Ain't bad.
Gabby Sanchez, Dan Ugla, Mike Stanton against Wandy Rodriguez. Sharp ball up the middle, and a base hit for Gabby. And that's got to feel good because Gabby really had struggled against Wandy Rodriguez. He'd struck him out twice with breaking balls. So Gabby, I guess, felt, you know what? If I get anything early, I'm jumping on it.
Yeah, that was a good aggressive swing. You mentioned Rodriguez with 9 strikeouts. His career high is 11. So he's only 2 away from that. Marlins hope they have something to say about it, though.
Ugla on a breaking ball. Pulls it. Johnson knocks it down. He is safe at second. And so the Marlins are at first and second. Here comes Brad Mills out to argue. That didn't look like it was even close. It looked like Gabby was safe all the way.
Yeah, I don't think he has. He's not going to win this argument at all. The boot by Johnson on a possible double play ball.
It is bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Good running by Gabby to get there straight on slide. You want to straight on, get that foot on the bag as quickly as possible. That's a big play because all of a sudden, first and second, nobody out. The Marlins had that same situation in the first inning. First and second, nobody out, and could not capitalize.
So a big at bat for Mike Stanton now. Stanton has flied out and bounced out.
It's an interesting scoring decision. It's a fielder's choice. It's not an error. I mean, it's an out if he doesn't boot the ball. So I find that one hard to believe, but right now it's ruled a fielder's choice.
Hey, first and second, nobody out.
Doesn't matter.
That's all the Marlins care about.
That's all that matters.
They had this in the first inning, and Wandy pitched around it. Stanton with a good swing at that breaking ball. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Mike trying to bust out of a 2 for 20 that he's in right now.
0 for 6 are the Marlins with runners in scoring position. What was it, 0 for 35 on the road trip?
Yeah, until Ricky Nolasco stopped it with an RBI single.
Stanton late on that fastball. It's 1-2. And he threw it by him. 89-mile-an-hour fastball. That's 10 strikeouts for Wandy Rodriguez.
I think, to be honest, we could see Mike get the day off tomorrow. Get his head clear. Get Bonifacio in the lineup. Just a thought that I had.
Here's Cody now. Big breaking ball from Wandy. Ball 1. Line drive, right center field. That's a base hit. Into the gap it goes. It's going to the wall. Gabby scores. Here comes Ugra. Cody's racing for third. A triple in a tie game.
Forget about all that waiver talk. Cody Ross is locked in. He started to get so the last couple of days in Pittsburgh, driving balls the other way. Last night he doubled and homered. This time, fastball, stays inside the ball, drills it into that gap. Once it split that right center field gap, a long way to go. Cody got himself a triple and tied the game.
Now the infield is in, and Wes Helms is up. There's one out.
So just like that, all the good pitching that Wandy Rodriguez has done out there, just like that, a tie game.
And, of course, the misplay by Johnson at third opened the door. Helms, a fielder's choice, and he has struck out. He's looking for something he can hit in the air.
Yeah, misplay on a ball that could very well have been a double play ball. That's a horrible feeling when you're an infielder and you boot a ball. You're hoping that your pitcher can pick you up and get through it, and all of a sudden a Cody Ross triple, and it's a tie game.
Ooh, chick swing on a breaking ball. And it's 2-1. It's a tough feeling, too, because you got to stand out there after it's happened. And you don't get a chance to redeem yourself right away. Chris Volstad watching, waiting, hoping Helms can deliver this run. But you got Wandy Rodriguez, who's been a strikeout machine, who is one shy of his career high in strikeouts. And this is only the 6th inning. That's how good he's been tonight. So this is a big pitch here, 2-2 with 1 out. Smothered by Castro. Well, the sequence has been, and we saw it with Stanton, and we've seen it with so many of the right-handed hitters. Breaking ball, but when he needs it, a fastball that he's able to throw by people.
And that's what he's done. He's changed the eye level of a lot of hitters with that 12-6 curve and then up with fastballs.
3-2 coming. Breaking ball, ground ball, base hit down the line, it's fair. Cody scores. Helms trucking into second, thinking about 3. He's going for it. Uncle Wes is in there.
He checked out Carlos Lee, El Caballo, down in that left field corner. Had a little trouble getting to it, and Uncle Wes gets himself a triple. Back-to-back triples here in the 6th inning. And all Wandy Rodriguez can do is shake his head. How many times also, and this one was called fair, exciting moment, back-to-back triples, have a situation, got a hitter up there, don't rule out a squeeze in this situation.
It's a great time for it. He's coming, squeezes on, and he fouled it back to the screen.
Well, you see a lot of managers do that. Bobby Cox does it. The Dodgers taught it in the early years. I can remember Tommy Lasorda used to do that all the time.
Whenever something big happens, on whether it's a triple or a wild play,
I'm surprised, really surprised that more managers don't pitch out in that situation.
Hayes swings and misses. And it's 0-2. Struck out in the second. Dropped down a real nice drag bunt in the 5th inning, only to have Chris Johnson make a great pickup and throw. Boy, you can really hear the thunder. We've seen lots of lightning bolts dancing around the stadium. Infield's in. That's outside. Will Ullman in the bullpen. Volstad's spot is up next. got too deep. Bourne comes in, makes the catch. Helms comes. The throw is offline, but much too shallow to score on.
Well, you also have a guy out there who has 8 assists and was in very shallow center field. And Wes Helms, the runner. Not quite deep enough. Bourne coming in. Wes gave him a little bit of a bluff, but he wasn't going to go.
Well, this is Edwin Rodriguez putting some faith in Chris Volstad.
He likes the way he's been pitching the last few innings.
And he's going to give him a chance to get deeper in this game.
His pitch counts at 87.
Wandy misses down low. Rodriguez's pitch count has ballooned over 100. He's at 101. No swing, and it's 2-0. Marlins would love to get Hanley up here.
I think if that happened, Brad Mills might have to pull the plug on Wandy Rodriguez. He does have a right-hander ready in the bullpen.
Volstad had a rip at 2-0.
That's a chance for Chris to help himself. Has 3 hits this year.
It's 2-1. Big inning for the Fish. They finally get to Wandy Rodriguez. Back-to-back triples by Cody Ross and Wes Helms. Count now 2-2. It's down low. Wandy Rodriguez was walking off the mound. Hanley's on deck. Chris fights it off, and he'll force Rodriguez to throw another pitch. You can see the 24 pitches. His 25th coming up. That'll equal the first inning.
Yeah, bookends.
Volstad off the end of the bat, and El Caballo is there. And Carlos Lee lost it in the lights, but makes the catch. But the Marlins get a little help from the Astros defensively. The bobble by John. Marlin fans, not too late to become a season ticket holder this year. Enjoy the best savings and benefits in the big leagues. A variety of plans that start at just $85. And, of course, season ticket holders have access to the premium seating in the new Marlins ballpark. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call.
Rich, here's another thing to think about with Edwin's decision to get Chris back out there in the 7th inning. He's got the bottom third of the order. I think if he had Pence and Carlos Lee coming up in this inning, we'd see the bullpen. So he's trying everything he can to get Chris Volstad to get deeper into a game, and he'd love to see him get through this inning. Be 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters. He'll be a pinch hitter for the pitcher. But he does have the bullpen ready as this inning begins.
Yeah, Veras and Ullman down there right now. Jason Castro's 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Volstad misses outside. Chris comes into this 7th inning having struck out 6, walked 2. You see the rain falling. There's lightning and thunder crackling all around South Florida. Of course, it was a long inning for Volstad to sit and watch and then, of course, get up and have that at bat.
Yeah, sometimes that at bat keeps you loose a little bit.
No swing. And a leadoff walk to Jason Castro, and here comes Anderson Hernandez.
Well, the reason you have to have that bullpen ready, remember how quickly things happened in that 6th inning in Pittsburgh, and I think that's going to be all. I think you just wanted to go batter by batter just to see how Volstad would perform, and with the bullpen ready, Edwin's not going to take any chances.
Remember how quickly he came out and got him in Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah.
3-2, Fish on top. Here's our out. Will Ullman comes in, and the Astros are going to counter with a former Hurricane.
You know, the one thing about Houston, they have all the young players starting, but they have a couple of veterans on the bench. We're going to see one, Jason Michaels. They've got Jeff Blum, another veteran. I don't know if he'll pinch hit next, but Michaels is in there now.
I hate to break this to you, but the last time that Chris Volstad faced Houston, it was in Houston. He left with a 4-3 lead. That lead evaporated because of a Jason Michaels 2-run homer against Tim Wood. It was early in the season.
I didn't hear a word you said.
Here's the 1-0.
Yeah, Jason Michaels has 9 pinch hits, 2 pinch hit home runs this year.
Active pinch hit leaders. Matt Stairs. Did you see the catch Matt Stairs made a few days ago? The diving catch?
You have to look 2 or 3 times because you don't think it's Stairs.
Ullman has come in, and he has yet to throw a strike.
That's one thing we've seen Will Ullman do consistently is throw strikes. But having trouble to the former Kane. 4th round pick of the Phillies, Jason Michaels, back in '98.
Castro the runner at first. Ullman to the plate. Hit hard. Diving stop. Helms on his knees. Out there. Uggla's turn not in time. Great play by Helms. That ball was scorched.
Well, Wes Helms with a big triple now with a tremendous defensive play. Really not too much of a chance to turn 2.
But he made the stop and got the out.
Boy, that's nicely done. Quick reactions on a ball that was hit sharply by Michaels.
Tommy Manzella will pinch hit now. This is the pitcher's spot. Manzella got the start last night at shortstop. Ullman misses up with a breaking ball. Here's the luxury of having a veteran like Ullman who can get right-handed hitters out. You can bring him into a game, and even if the opposing manager starts mixing and matching right-handed bats, you can leave Ullman in.
Getting a great note the last time the Marlins had back-to-back triples. You have to go back to April of '05. A couple of speedsters, Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo against the Rockies.
2-0 cut by Manzella.
It's only the 5th time in Marlins history they've had back-to-back triples.
And, you know, if you were to pick a couple of guys out of the Marlins lineup to have back-to-back triples, you probably wouldn't go Cody Ross, Wes Helms.
That's right, yeah.
Mark Melancon continues to throw, and with Manzella hitting in Wandy Rodriguez's spot, he's done. By the way, they did charge an error to Chris Johnson on the Uggla ball back in the 6th inning. Another strike.
And I think rightfully so. We talked about it at the time. So the Marlins pick up 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 unearned.
Two from Ullman. Ground ball in the hole into left field. Morrison picks it up. And you've got Michael Bourne coming up. A left-handed bat with lots of speed, so Ullman will stay in the ballgame.
You ask and you shall receive, Rich, going back into Marlins history. The 5 duos that have had back-to-back triples. Cody Ross and Wes, Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo and Pudge. Luis Castillo and Eric Owens. No surprise there. How about the very first back-to-back triple combination in Marlins history? 1995. Kurt Abbott and Russ Morman. You wouldn't have thought that one either. With Abby, yes, not with Russ Morman.
Ullman crowds Bourne with that fastball. Ball and a strike. Michaels, the runner at second. Manzella now resides at first. Bourne is 0 for 2. And Ullman misses up. Because of his speed, you would expect not an easy guy to double up. He has bounced into 5 double plays in 435 at-bats. Up and in. Got the strike. It's 2-2.
He struck out on a high fastball in the 5th inning. In that 5th inning, Chris Volstad struck out the side.
2-2 coming. He went right back with that fastball. Michael Bourne is a guy you can strike out. 92 times he has struck out. Oman checks Michaels at second. 2-2 coming. He got him.
Well, he got him with a good slider. He showed him that high fastball for strike 2. Showed it to him again and then went away to get him with the slider.
And that's going to do it for Ullman with the right-handed bat of Angel Sanchez coming up. Edwin's going to the bullpen, and Jose Veras is coming into this ball game. 1-run game. Here's Rudy. Call to the pen.
When you need a car, truck over.
It's the Marlins and the Braves at 7:10. Got the post-game concert featuring Pitbull with special guest Fat Joe following a fireworks spectacular. It's all presented by South Florida Ford Dealers, 1-877 Marlins. So Jose Veras' job is to get Angel Sanchez with runners at first and second. Spins up a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1.
By the way, due to the weather all around here, the post-game concert tonight's been moved to Gate C.
Ground ball short. Hanley, Ugla, and Veras gets out of it. Will Ullman, Jose Veras, nicely done in the 7th.
The seventh, Chris Volstad, just out of the game, kind enough to join us. Chris, 4 batters into the game, you're down 2-0. Did you stay with the game plan, or did you make some adjustments at that point because you really settled in, gave up just 2 singles after that?
Yeah, we had a good game plan going in, and I just really wasn't executing in that first inning. And then a couple balls just kind of rolled through the holes, but after that I was able to locate my pitches a little bit better and get ahead of the hitters, so that was a big thing.
How encouraging is this outing for you?
Big, just build off those last 5 innings that I had and keep it going.
Great job.
Great job by Will Oman, who got you out of there with the help of Wes Helms. How about the veteran with the big triple and then makes the diving stop at third?
Yeah, big hit, big play right there. He's been doing that all year. You can't say enough about Wes.
What was working tonight in terms of your pitches, fastball, the sinking fastball? What do you think you had the best feel for tonight?
Definitely my 2-seam fastball, that sinker, able to get ahead with it. And then I was using my slider really well tonight, too. So those two combined.
Chris, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Chris Volstad pitched very well tonight. Very encouraging outing for the big right-hander. Rich and Tommy?
Yeah, Frank, and a good first question to Chris as well, Tommy. We saw that after the Astros got 2 runs, Volstad didn't panic, stayed with his game plan, and did an outstanding job to deliver the game into the 7th.
Probably one of the hardest things for young pitchers is to make those adjustments within the game. Sometimes you talk about it from start to start, but to make it within the game. You see a couple of changes the Astros have made. Sanchez moves over to second, Manzella stays in the game, and Mark Melancon is on the mound. So it was good to see Chris make those adjustments, and boy, oh boy, he really settled down after that and gave Edwin a solid 6 innings. And the bullpen really helped him out.
Hanley fouls it back. Hanley Ramirez is 2 for 3. He is 4 for 6 in this series. And of course, last night, the Marlins did not have to get Clay Hensley up or Leo Nunez, and so they're fresh and ready to go for the 8th and the 9th inning tonight.
Always like to get that insurance, though, late in the game.
Chopper. Johnson short hops, throws high. Hanley is safe at first. He kind of ran into Brett Wallace, and I think that'll be another error on the third baseman.
Yeah, it should be. He charged that ball well. It looked like he was going to make the play, but as he uncorked the throw, it was high. Wallace was able to get up and catch it, but couldn't get down in time. And then when he came down, kind of had a little mini collision with Hanley. I think Hanley was thinking about going to second base
until Wallace landed on him.
And you can't really call interference because they're both just there at the same time.
Right. There's Logan Morrison now. He's 2 for 3. Hanley has been on base 3 times tonight. He stole his 23rd base back in the 5th. And Melancon misses outside.
And our crack staff quickly checking in. Melanson for the right-hander, who has a good fastball, low 90s. Scouting report says power breaking ball, sometimes slider, sometimes hard curveball.
Picked up his first career win against the Mets on the 17th. Of course, this is a bullpen that does not have Matt Lindstrom in it. Maybe the former Marlin, been a part of the pen most of the year.
Lindstrom was the closer, 22 saves, but even a little before he was injured, he was taken out of that closer role. Brandon Lyon has been closing games.
Maybe their best reliever, the Astros' best reliever. The fans getting on Castro for going out to the mound here to talk to Melanson, is Wilton Lopez. Lopez, the right-hander, has an ERA of under 3 and is 4-0. And is not allowed to run in his last 17 outings. So important that you get to this point of the game with a lead and you don't have to face a Wilton Lopez. much with Morrison's ability to go back up the middle and shoot the ball to left field. Does that ease some of the traditional leaves the runner at first to keep that hole open?
It does in a way, but I think early in the count you'd still like to, because Logan has shown such a good idea of the strike zone. If he looks for a pitch in, he can pull it, and then that hole becomes very advantageous. But I think as it gets deeper in the count, 3-0, I don't think you're going to see Hanley go, but maybe 3-1.
Hanley's bluffing. It's outside. Melanson, who had better control when he was Melancon, walks Morrison.
Now, right now, again, the Marlins have that opportunity. They had the first and second, nobody out in the first inning, and could not capitalize. They had first and second in the sixth inning, and they capitalized. That was the inning of the back-to-back triples, Cody Ross and Wes Helms.
Gabby goes after a breaking ball. Gabby struggled his first two at-bats against Wandy Rodriguez, but who didn't? I mean, Wandy came one shy of a career high in strikeouts. He punched out 10 in 6 innings.
He was dazzling tonight.
But Gabby got to him. He hit the first pitch he saw in the 6th inning, up the middle for a base hit. And that's what really got the Marlins started, the error by Chris Johnson on Uggla's ball. The back-to-back triples with Ross and Helms. Don't often see that. Gabby go after 2 pitches like that.
Yeah, 2 real hard curveballs, too, from Melanson. Yeah, it's been a rough night for Chris Johnson, the third baseman, because that error in the 6th inning really set the stage for those triples. He'll talk to his dad, and he'll say, you know what? Another day. Back at it the next day. You're going to get another bat probably tonight. And you might get a few more plays.
Oh, 2. Gabby goes up and drills it. Left center field. That's deep. That's off the wall. Hanley will score. Morrison right behind him. Espada will send him, and he's going to score.
There's that insurance, and there's another breaking ball, but he didn't snap it off the way he did the first 2. Melanson tried to come back with the same pitch, but he left it up in the zone, and Gabby Sanchez, double number 31 now on the year. Keep it going, Gabby. Yeah, hanger. 61 RBIs now, too.
Here comes Uggla now. And the feeling gets even worse for the rookie third baseman, Chris Johnson.
Yeah, every time, the 2 times tonight that he's made an error, the Marlins have jumped on it and capitalized.
Uggla takes out 2-0.
It's been a nice change. We talked about Chris Volstad, young pitchers adjusting. But within the game, the Marlins hitters have adjusted. They were 0 for their first 6 with runners in scoring position, 3 for their last 6.
.31 doubles, 61 RBIs now for Gabby. Both of those figures lead all National League rookies. Mike Stanton on deck. Let's see if Uggs turns it loose 3-0. Up and in. He takes his walk.
Now the only pitcher in the bullpen now for the Astros is a left-hander. Brad Arnsberg is going to check in on Mellinson.
Gustavo Chacin in the bullpen. Mellinson pitched at the University of Arizona. Had Tommy John surgery. Spent some time with the Yankees this year and last.
Well, he has something in common with his manager. We talked about Brad Mills and his close friend Terry Francona having played at the University of Arizona. Well, Mills and Mellinson, same college. Pretty good baseball school.
Jerry Kindle, a longtime coach there, no longer coaching, but a former Minnesota Twin, had a great run with the Wildcats. Stanton digs in. Mike 0 for 3, 2 for his last 21. One of the hardest things to learn as a young player at this level in this game is that when you go into a streak like this, is you can't get them all back at the same time.
You want to, but you can't go up there with that thought. No. Kind of like the way we saw Cody come out. Hit a couple balls hard. They weren't base hits, but you could tell by his swing that things were starting to fall into place.
That was an 83-mile-an-hour changeup, and he looked lost on it.
Yeah, that was a good position to hit, too. That was a very hittable changeup.
Tomorrow, Nelson Figueroa against Ricky Nolasco. That finishes off the 3-game series. Day off, on to New York. Josh Johnson on Tuesday night.
Game change up again. Yep.
Coors Light cold, hard blast. These the big ABs. Back in the 6th, Cody Ross with a 2-run triple that tied the game at 2 against Wandy Rodriguez. And then on a full count, Wes Helms snuck it around the bag.
And then snuck onto the bag. And we told you the 5th time in club history they've had back-to-back triples.
So Cody, in the 2 games in this series, is now 3 for 6 with a double, triple, and homer. Melanson misses outside. The Mets have yet to announce who will be starting on Tuesday against JJ. JJ against the Mets in his career 7-1 with a 2.55 ERA.
I think the Marlins will see Pelfrey, but probably Wednesday or Thursday. I think they might miss Santana. He may be pitching the final game, the Sunday game in Pittsburgh. Jonathan Neese is pitching tonight.
Cody to center. 2 outs. We look forward at the Marlins schedule. Brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. There's the Sunday game tomorrow. Ricky Nolasco scheduled to go for the Fish. Nelson Figueroa for the Astros. And then it's Mets, Braves, Braves. And by the way, Saturday's game on the 28th is now a 7 o'clock game in Atlanta, and we will carry it on Fox Sports Florida.
You can see it right here.
And you can live forward with Just for Men Hair Color.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. Every once in a while, our Met insider, part of our crack staff, weighs in. So if he's out there, he may know who's opening up that series against the Marlins.
I did not know that Mr. Met had a cell phone. Yeah, Santana throws tomorrow against Zach Duke. And the Mets have an off day on Monday as well. Helms fights that one off foul. Hensley is right on the rail. 5-2 Fish. 2-run double by Gabby Sanchez. Mets are delayed in Pittsburgh by rain, but on top 5-1 in the 6th inning. Nationals lead the Phillies 5-1, 8th inning. Helms a ground ball. That's going to get through to right field. Here comes Gabby. Pence's throw is to third. Gabby scores. Still safe is Ugla. He got tagged twice. And Helms delivers his second RBI of the night. I don't know if you could roll a ball, a thrown ball through the infield on that side at that speed in any other spot but that one spot.
Yeah, you could not roll one more perfectly. This found the hole after a diving attempt by Wallace, the first baseman. He's playing way off the line.
I mean, he should have had the ball.
He's got to at least try to knock that ball down. And then Pence goes to third with his throw. But Dan Ugla is able to sneak in. By the way, Wes Helms with that triple earlier, that was Wes's 4th triple this year.
Well, that was close. Ugla was almost out the second time. 4 triples for Wes? How about that? The caught stealing. Watch this beautiful throw. Look at catch. Ugly didn't even have to move the glove. That's the Prosper Coors Light pre-scan. Brett Hayes.
And that's a nice segue to Brett Hayes facing Gustavo Chassin. I got one more note on the Wes Helms triple saga. Mentioned it was his 4th triple this year. Wes's career high hit 5 in 2006 as a Marlin. But in 07, 08, and 09, he did not triple.
It's that blazing speed.
Uncle Wes, the sheriff.
The Marlins, if they can win this ball game, will go to 25-12 against left-handed pitching.
They'll also, for the first time this year, put together a 5-game win streak.
They haven't done it yet. Chassin with a steady diet of off-speed pitches to Brett Hayes. Did you get a text from Mr. Met?
Yeah, Mr. Met, our Met insider, letting me know that it could be R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer.
One, two.
Well, when the Mets are on the road, Mr. Met just relaxes around the house. Somewhere in Queens, I think he lives.
Near the airport? He feels at home with the sound of jets overhead.
Yeah. Mr. Met actually has pictures of Craig. You know, with a microphone and the FS Florida flag.
Autographed.
There have been reports sometimes in the off season. You'll spot Mr. Met up at the Breakers in Palm Beach.
Is Mrs. Met in tow?
I hope so.
Hayes is patient on this at bat. Chassin is not a guy that's come in throwing hard. And Hayes pulls that one foul.
Billy usually just goes to warmer waters in the off season.
Well, Billy's a bachelor.
Yeah. He can go anywhere he wants.
And he often does. Oh, we better stop before we get ourselves in trouble. Hayes with runners at the corners. And the 2-2 coming. He fouls it back. Helms was on the move on that 2-2 pitch.
Well, with all those triples, West feels good. He's got a little bounce in his step tonight. A couple of base hits, a couple of RBIs. And notice how things have worked out. This is, a lot of people thought, I think you and I thought that we would see Bonifacio and Luna back in the lineup. They each had good games. Well, Edwin went with Wes Helms and Logan Morrison. Logan Morrison has a couple of hits, a walk. West with 2 base hits, a triple and a single, and 2 RBIs.
Breaking ball misses in. You can see in this at bat that Hayes has kind of figured out that Chassin can't throw the ball by him. And so he's kind of slowed his swing down and his approach down.
By the way, you saw Hector Luna getting ready in the on-deck circle.
Helms will be on the move. Full count pitch coming. It's down low. Change up.
Pretty amazing, an off-speed pitch to the number 8 hitter in a situation like that. That tells me he sure doesn't feel very confident in his fastball.
He'll sink it, cut it,
and throw 3-2 changeups. We'll add that to the scouting report.
Well, here's Luna. He got a good look at Chacin from the on-deck circle. Tommy, here's his range. 86 the high, 72 the low. Looked like the cutter.
Probably his favorite pitch. Likes to use that a lot.
Chacin was the guy that was on the mound when the Mets finally scored. I think on an Ike Davis sac fly in the 14th. And he got the loss. That's about his top end there at 87. Uggla walked. Helms delivered another run with a single, and Hayes walked.
Well, the good news, the Marlins have had back-to-back 3-run innings.
He struck him out. He threw all those changeups and then finally used a couple fastballs to get out of the inning. Ballpark. Make sure you get down to the new sales headquarters right across the street. These are the latest aerial photos of the new ballpark site. 1-877-411-2012. 877-411-2012. That's the number to call to schedule an appointment. The new sales headquarters has a suite set up, has the actual seats that you can sit in the ballpark, the 3D view of whichever location you're looking at.
I mean, you can get into an area and be able to see what it's going to look like out there. The bottom line is if you get there and just see it firsthand, you're going to be blown away. There's no question about it. It's so exciting just to see the progress, but when you see the 3D view and you sit in the sales center, which is like a suite, and you can see what the suites look like, phenomenal.
Clay Hensley stands in, and he gets Hunter Pence to open up the 8th inning. Good job by the bullpen in the 7th. Chris Volstad started that inning, walked the leadoff man. Will Oman came in and got a couple outs, gave up a single, and then Jose Averas got the final out. Pence greets him rudely, bangs it in the gap. To the wall it goes. And Hunter Pence has his 26th double of the season. He's a good player, an all-star, and a guy that right now is kind of going unnoticed simply because the Astros have been so awful all year.
You know, he doesn't have a whole lot around him in the order, but he is fortunate to have a guy like Carlos Lee hitting behind him.
Carlos Lee drove in a couple runs in the first. Hensley's breaking ball is popped up. Should be playable. Gabby's there and makes the catch.
Interesting note out of that Washington-Philly game. We mentioned that Steven Strasburg started for the Nationals, had a 5-1 lead, something like that. But 4 1/3 innings, and understand he's got a wrist injury. Don't know how that happened, but he had to come out of the game. And bottom line, before you anoint a young player, a young pitcher, let him see what the wear and tear of a major league season, mentally and physically, can do to you. And I think Strasburg's seeing some of that.
Chris Johnson up right now. You see Pence out at second. Hensley misses outside with a breaking ball. Another breaking ball. See Brett Wallace on deck. And time called. Tommy, on the Marlins website, MLB.com, Marlins.com, it is being reported that Ricky Nolasco may not make his start tomorrow due to an apparent knee injury. That ball is fouled off into the seats. The report says that Nolasco has some sort of issue with his right knee and will be examined tonight. Manager Edwin Rodriguez would not confirm there was an injury, saying he had no details and he needed to talk to the training staff. So Frank Fort, after the ball game, hopefully will be able to shed some light on that report. Hensley gets a strikeout. Johnson tips it into the glove of Brett Hayes.
So anytime Clay Hensley has that good hammer working, he usually works pretty well on the mound. You hope that anything with Ricky is just something not serious as far as a knee injury and maybe just a start. You hope it doesn't involve anything more, anything worse.
Brett Wallace is 0 for 3. If Nolasco is unable to make the start tomorrow, the Marlins have obviously a real tough decision. Do they rush somebody up from Double-A? Do they give the ball to Andrew Miller, who is here merely to be a left-handed reliever?
I think you have a couple of choices. You probably do. If it's something that would require Ricky to go on the disabled list, you probably bring another pitcher up. You just want to have another arm. And I would imagine we would see Andrew Miller or Burke Badenhop in the game. So that's why it was good news that Chris Volstad was able to go 6 good innings tonight.
Hensley has 2 outs here. No one's really been taxed. Ullman 2/3, Veras 1/3. Hensley working here. There's Tim Burdack in the Houston bullpen. That's low. So stick around for Marlins Live after the game. Frank Fort will be down on the field, and we'll try to get you the latest news if we can. That one's lined out to Hanley, who makes the catch. Wallace, that's the best contact that he's made the last 2 nights. That one stung as Hanley. Gave up 2 runs in the first, but Chris Volstad bounced back and brought this game into the 7th inning and kept it at just 2 runs. And he is in line for win number 7 on the season. Chris Volstad, our Jaguar performer of the game.
Good adjustments. He was able to settle down after that first inning. Threw about 24 pitches in the first inning. Gave up a couple of hits, a couple of runs. So good to see Chris do that. We need to get some T-shirts like that, Rich.
Wait a minute. Which T-shirt were you referring to? Here's Hanley with Logan Morrison and Gabby Sanchez to follow. Gustavo Chassis with a strike. Hanley, a couple hits. Reached on an error in the 7th. Marlins providing 3 insurance runs in the 7th. They got 3 in the 6th. That's when they finally got to Wandy Rodriguez.
You know, you always wonder how much it factors in. But Hanley sitting, not in the lineup the other night, last game in Pittsburgh. And since that time, he's had a couple of nice games in the first 2 games of this series. 2 hits last night, scored 3 times.
Hanley, Morrison, and Gabby here in the 8th. Chacin. High pop with Sanchez and Wallace after it, and Hunter Pence on the scene.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question here, Rich, because we've just seen these 2 teams. We saw Pittsburgh for 4 games, and Pittsburgh has won about 12 or 13 fewer games than these Astros. In just a quick assessment, to me, Pittsburgh looks like they have a little better team. And I'm surprised that they haven't won more games than Houston.
You know, Houston may have a little bit better front of the rotation guys with Myers and North and Rodriguez. But I think you're right in a sense that the young players that the Pirates have, the Neil Walkers, the Pedro Alvarez, the Jose Tabata, the Andrew McCutcheons, I think in terms of lineup 1 through 8, you would give the nod to the Pirates.
It'd be kind of interesting to see how these 2 teams develop because they're both young.
Well,
they're both in the Central Division.
And then that's the interesting thing. The Astros actually have a winning record in the Central Division. I mean, they're 15 under.
You made a good point. We were talking about teams like St. Louis and Cincinnati playing in the Central get the opportunity to play Houston, Pittsburgh. The Cubs are not good this year.
The Washington Nationals, you pointed out, have a better record, and the Nationals are in last place in this division. They have a better record than the Cubs. The Nationals came in at 52-70. The Cubs won today. They're 51-73. Houston is 9 games over 500 against the Central. But against the East, 8-13. Against the West, 9-19. Against the American League, 3-12. And that is one of the inequities, and maybe the biggest inequity, of the wild card. When the Phillies and the Giants are battling it out for the wild card spot, maybe the Marlins are chasing somebody, they don't play the same schedule. Three-two. Morrison swings and misses. But you know what? The wild card, and many people felt it would be a scourge upon baseball.
Nah, it's been exciting.
Introduced in 95.
Hey, and if not for the wild card, you wouldn't see that. The 1997 and 2003 world champions. So it makes for interesting baseball the last few weeks because there are always 3 or 4 teams in that wild card race.
Now, if you brought back a balanced schedule and eliminated interleague play, then all of a sudden everybody does play pretty much an even schedule. Or as close to one as you can get. And sometimes, Tommy, it can be, as Gabby takes that breaking ball for a strike, it can be when you play a team.
If you caught the Astros early in the season in April, you had a good chance to put them away.
Ground ball out to short. Manzella throws him out. And Gabby bounces out. with a big 2-run triple in the 6th inning. Our fourth spotlight of the game is on Cody Ross. That's the big hit. Juan Rodriguez had been sticking it in the Marlins' ear all night until Cody busted loose. That one into right center field. That tied the game. The Marlins have gone on to take this lead into the 9th, 6-2.
Yeah, Cody with a little 4-game hitting streak now, 5 for his last 15. And we get a look at Leo Nunez. I still had fun the other night in Pittsburgh, and I think both nights, back-to-back nights, when Nunez came in closing situations. And how the one night he couldn't throw a fastball for a strike. So he went primarily with changeups. The next night, his fastball was live, 96, 97.
He didn't want to throw it, though.
But he did. Ronnie Paulino, at that time, behind the plate, made him throw it.
Jason Castro, the catcher, up first. Jeff Blum is on deck.
The amazing thing when you look at Leo, he's about 6 foot, 170 pounds. He's not a big guy, but he has that whippy delivery. And you see clearly he can throw 96, 97 with ease.
Not a save situation, but nonetheless, you want Leo to get the work in. You want him to finish this thing off. You see his pitch load. He was off limits last night to a point. If they really needed him, he would have come in, but obviously the Marlins ran away with it 9-0.
And again, you would like to see him in a game like tonight that's not a save situation. Not have to throw 30 pitches in an inning, because he could be needed tomorrow.
Well, everybody could be needed tomorrow.
And yes, if in fact the report you read is true, Ricky Nolasco is going to miss a start, then it's going to be a good chance of bullpen game tomorrow.
Here's the 2-2.
Well, I saw a little flinch in Bill Hahn. Looked like Bill Hahn's right shoulder flinched a little bit.
That foul back and out of play. Little fox track.
Yeah,
it was pitch 6.
Number 6 is off. Pitch 7 is the one he fouled off.
Stroked into right field. Stanton is there. And Mike makes the catch. What's she reading there, Tommy?
Yeah, I hope it's exciting. Can't quite get the title.
Doesn't look like she's quite at the end, so
it also doesn't look like she's quite into this game either.
Yeah, she's still in the middle innings.
Yeah.
So she's a ways away from the Clay Hensley chapter. Blum takes outside. Now here's a guy that has had a nice career in the big leagues and been a very resourceful guy. Blum takes down low. He's 37. This is his second stop with Houston, his 13th year in the big leagues. He was a part of the World Championship team for the White Sox. In fact, he hit a game-winning homer for the White Sox. It was his shot late in Game 3, 14th inning, that helped put Jeff Blum and the White Sox through for that sweep over the Astros. So he finds himself back in Houston, a team that he helped beat in the World Series.
I always like to mention it because someday you won't be able to say a guy was a draft pick of the Montreal Expos. But Jeff Blum back in 1994, 7th round pick of the Expos out of University of California.
Here's Manzella. Speaking of injuries, you noted that Steven Strasburg left his start in the 5th inning. And the report from the Associated Press is that Strasburg grabbed his right wrist and shook it after a pitch in the 5th. Manager Jim Riggleman immediately left the dugout, and after a brief conversation, he left the game. Of course, he had inflammation in the back of his right shoulder. For a stop on the disabled list, Leo missed with that pitch. It's 1-1.
You know, we get all kinds of information, the Strasburg information. Crack staff weighs in many areas. And we're finding out that the book the young lady was reading, a British romance novel. In case anyone's interested. Obviously she is. See, you can see she's starting to tear up in the romance.
It's a page turner, Tommy. You can't put it down. Slowly, Nunez stepped to the mound. The sweat on his brow. Here's the 1-2, and it's fouled back into the seats.
Started to trickle down his cheek.
It's a captivating story of life and love. Just like baseball, Tommy.
As he once again checked in to see what Brett Hayes had to offer.
1-2 coming. And he went around. Manzella couldn't hold up. And tonight, it looks like Nunez has confidence in that fastball, and he's throwing it well.
That's good. When he gets confidence in that, you know the changeup is just going to be better. Little movement, came back. And he gets the strikeout.
So Michael Bourne now, as Nunez tries to finish it off. Runner goes, no stolen base. Good changeup, ball and a strike. Marlins Live is coming up. We'll give you highlights of this one. We'll try to get you a report on the status of Ricky Nolasco for tomorrow's start. Marlins about to take the first 2 games of this series against the Astros. 1-1 coming. And it's 2-1.
I was just thinking it's one of the reasons I think we might be seeing Leo Nunez here. It could have been an opportunity with the score 6-2 and not a save situation to have had the Hopper, Burke Badenhop, maybe pitched in the 9th inning. But if you're looking at Hopper for tomorrow's game for 2 or 3 innings, that's understandable.
Well, Nunez has worked himself into a first and second spot. And has thrown 23 pitches.
Yeah, the thing that you didn't want to have happen is happening.
I'll tell you what you really don't want to have happen, and that is Hunter Pence coming to the plate as the tying run in this inning. Angel Sanchez.
Yeah, you want to get by Sanchez, finish things off, because following, as you mentioned, Rich, Pence and then Carlos Lee.
By the way, The Nationals did win that game 8-1. Changeup just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. St. Louis beat San Francisco 5-1. Wow, that's not missing by much.
Looked like came back and caught the outside corner.
Fox tracks.
That's a strike.
And it's on the outside corner. Here comes Edwin Rodriguez.
I like this. Edwin has something specifically that he wants to get across to Nunez. The pitching coach, Randy St. Clair, is going to go out there. Edwin wants to get his message directly to Leo. And one thing might be, don't let that last call bother you.
So Edwin on his way back to the dugout. And we'll see how Leo fares now with a count 2-1.
There was the message.
Yep, and it was, you know what? You don't have to throw 97. Just throw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, throw it for a strike, and go from there. The Marlins are a strike away from their first 5-game winning streak of the season. Two coming. No swing. So the count's full. There's 2 outs. Everybody will be on the move. Broken bat, and Cody can't make the catch. It falls for a base hit. A run will score. Runners at the corners, and here comes Pence. Nunez made a great pitch. Cody couldn't get there in time, and now the Marlins have to call the bullpen to get somebody up. Because now you've got Pence coming up, and he is the tying run, and he can knock it out of the ballpark. He's got that kind of power.
Yeah, all the things you didn't want to have happen are taking place. An extended inning for Nunez. The Astros putting together a rally and getting the tying run to the plate, and the meat of their order. Pence, the number 3 hitter, then Lee, the number 4 hitter.
Badenhop is up right now. Nunez misses up and in.
But the bottom line, the 2 walks in this inning have hurt Leo Nunez.
He's given up just that blue pit. Pence has singled, has doubled. Good fastball. Nunez is at 31 pitches. That's a danger zone for closers. That's when you start losing a little bit off that fastball.
Yeah, and also a quick turnaround with the day game tomorrow.
Changeup. Now he's got 2 strikes. Let's see if he can put them away. One-two coming. Got him! Ball game. It wasn't easy for Leo, but he finishes. And the Marlins win it. 5 in a row the Marlins have won. Nunez had some words with Bill Hahn, the home plate umpire. And you saw Brett Hayes grab him by the back of the neck and steer him behind the mound.
Boy, you don't want anything to happen there because then you may lose him for tomorrow.
Yeah, Bill Hahn kept that conversation going for a while, but the Marlins got Nunez out of trouble's way. There's the finish, the strikeout. And you can see Nunez afterwards barking a bit. The Marlins win the ball game. That's 5 in a row, the first time all year. 6-3 the final. We'll put a wrap